Hi everyone, it's Judy. Welcome back to Rose Lane. Okay, well, I think my voice is pretty much back. I think I'm over being ill. Let's hope. You know what, I'm going to take my sweater off because my poor old 25-year-old sweater, however old it is, with all the holes, all the wrists are like, you know, kind of unraveling, and the sleeves are opening and getting sort of bell-shaped, and I'm catching on everything. I'm not that cold right now, so I'm going to leave it alone. I was laying in bed last night, and I've taken to start listening to some of this relaxing music, you know, for when I go to bed. And most times it helps. Sometimes it doesn't, and my mind just keeps racing. So I came up with another idea for another tag, and it's kind of a hidden tag. I'm just looking here and seeing that I've got a little bit of white here that I did not cut away enough for me. Okay. So I came up with another idea for a tag. I'm back in the Olivia journal again. And so we're going to do this because I'm getting to the point now where probably not my next video. The next video after this one, I'm going to be finishing off the tracing paper frames that I had made. We're going to be doing the decorating on most of that. And then I'm going to bind the book. And when I bind the journal, and when I bind it, then I'm going to go through and see just where I think I want to put more pockets or flips or clip something in or whatever, because like I said, I am desperately running out of room, and I don't want to overstuff it, but I don't want to leave too many blank pages. I want a lot of blank pages for writing, but not, you know, anyway. Okay, that's neither here nor there. We're going to go to this. This took, for me, it took 2 pieces of copy paper to do this part, okay? So that was 2 pieces of copy paper, and I had 2 pieces of decorative paper. Now this paper here, these 2 pieces, these papers came from Country at Heart, and it was her, let me see, I've got it up here, her printable digital collage sheets. Printable digital collage sheets. It's kind of like a wallpaper, but it's very, very pastel. The whole kit. So that came from there. These pictures are made smaller, not with the pink around the outside, because that was cardstock that I put on it. I just made them a little bit smaller, and these, I do believe, came from Artymaze new kit. She has a collaboration with Yvonne Preston, and it's called Bloom Rose, I believe. So I made these smaller, and I backed them onto this little bit of pink card. These came from, I'm saying it all now, I'm going to try to put it in the description box, hopefully I'll remember. These came from, I can never remember the whole thing. Hang on, I've got it over here. Hold on a second. It came from AllureBooksCrafts. AllureBooksCrafts. This is all on Etsy. And this is her 1700s French script. That's what that kit was called. And I think I've covered everything. Again, these are, I don't know, I have so many places where I get these roses from. Could be Blossom paper art. It could be Blossom clip art. It could be, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. One of these days I'll just probably list or try to list where I get all of my digitals from, and you know, all of my flower digitals from, and I will try to just like keep it in the description box, like just copy and paste it all the time. My nose is still running a little bit. Not from the cold, but because it's spring, and even though it's cold here in Buffalo, things are still blooming. So, and setting off pollen. So, okay, so this is what we're going to do. I got some pieces done ahead, some things I didn't. Some inking, like I have to ink these things. But what I came up with was this. this is what happens when you fall asleep well, you're trying to fall asleep in the middle of the night. This is what I came up with, and I cut the corners on here. This is just a little bit of scrap paper that from fussy cutting in my garbage, and so I hand cut this oval out of it. I had folded it in half. My original intention was to do a trifold like this, okay, and do a tag decoration on one side, tag decoration on the other side, and when you would open it, it would have all of this space and all of this space, and it would go like that and look like a tag on either side, and then you would slide it in to the tag cover like so, okay, and I would have a picture in here, which is these guys, okay. That was my original intention. Of course, when I first cut it, I cut it this size, and I had already cut these papers and everything, and then when I went to take the second piece of copy paper and tried to do a trifold, I was about this much too short. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to open it up like a folder, and we're going to do it with that. I will probably do one in the future where I make it a little narrower. I won't make them quite as wide, and then I'll be able to do the trifold one, but we'll stick with that. I'll put that on hold for now. For this time, we're just going to do a folder. So what I did was I took my piece of paper and I folded it in half. I did ink around the edges, even though I've got the paper cut, I believe should be right up to the edges. And I did ink in here so that when you open it, there's, you know, it's not quite so white. I laid my designer paper, decorative paper on either side like so, cut everything to fit. And then I took my die cut, and that was what this was a die cut, and I ran it through the machine and cut them all out. So I have these nice little things right here that came out of here with the decorative paper and the tea stain paper, like so, that I will save for another project somewhere. So that's that. So what we're going to do for right now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue the these images on. Now, what I want to make sure is I have the right image, the right paper for the right side, just in case I didn't get it exactly centered. You know, the die cut wasn't exactly centered. So I want to make sure that I've got the right piece. Now that, see, that one looks better on this side. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this one on this side and assume I've got that right. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this down. So let me just push this out of the way. And we're going to do the outside of, you know, the case, the tag case or journal card case, whatever you want to call it, first. And yes, I'm wearing a brace on my hand. They wanted me to get a wrist brace because of the carpal tunnel. I have it in both hands. They had two wrist braces. These were compression braces, and one was a small, which is like, you know, for a kid, and then there was this one. So I could only get one at the drugstore where I go, the pharmacy where I go. And though I think it helps a little bit, my problem is, you see the seam right here that goes here. This is where I have most of my pain. And if you look, well, that's where most of my pain is. And when you take it off, it looks like I've got a scar down here from the seam on the wristband. So probably not the best design for me, but it does help a little bit while I'm actually using my hands. So it helps a little bit, because after a little while trying to squeeze the glue bottle or cut something, you know, with scissors or something like that, I start having some problems. So that is that. Now, I am going to tell you something while I'm putting all this glue on here. It is not all that exciting for me, but if you have been watching my videos, you know that my work will move us from time to time, And just 2 years ago, this coming August, we moved here to Buffalo. Well, we are moving again. So it hasn't been good for me in the regards that when I first put up my YouTube channel, which will be 2 years ago this May. Today is still April. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm not sure if I have the right one. I hope I do. I think it was this one. I'm pretty sure the front, you know, with the right side. Yeah, there we go. Good. Yeah. Okay, good. That's good. Oh, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I put my YouTube channel up 2 years ago. This May 12th, I think, was my anniversary date. I want to just open this. It's still very soft because of the glue, but I want to make sure that I've got all my little ridges lined up. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to, you know, like re-ink and stuff. So if there is anything that's showing, if I don't have it exactly perfect, it'll be fine. Okay, let me go ahead and do this one on this side. I think I may have used the wrong ones. I can see where I'm going to have to, and I'm going to do that now. Trim that off while I can see it. And I have to be very careful here trimming because I do not want to cut the fold. I may be a little off screen and I apologize for that. But I want to try to get this. Yeah, I can see it a little better over here, over the brown mat that I have. I'm trying to be so careful. I'm not getting close enough, and because I don't want to get too close and cut that fold, but I don't, and in trying not to get too close, I mean, it's not like it's a horrible, terrible deal. I could just go in and kind of throw some glue on it to glue it closed because it is going to just make a pouch. But I'd rather not. Okay, that'll do, I think. I think that should be all right. That looks fine. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so I started my YouTube channel just about 2 years ago in May of 2020, and that summer we moved. So I didn't have, you know, for about 3 months, I had to pack up all my stuff, and, you know, it takes us a while to do what we have to do because it's not just moving our house, it's moving our offices and getting things ready for the people who follow us. And so it really does take a lot of time. So I had packed up all of my crafting stuff pretty much for the summer of 2020. And while everybody else was on the COVID lockdown, or most everybody else was on the COVID lockdown, my job was considered an essential job. So I had to go to work. I still was at work. So, you know, so we moved and we were continuing to work here and, you know, had our jobs cut out for us, our work cut out for us here. And finally in the fall, I had the opportunity to get all my stuff unpacked, get myself basically set up, and start again in the fall of 2020. Then, in April of 2021, I opened my Etsy shop. And thinking I was going to have, you know, the summer to go ahead and do, you know, stuff for my store and for my Etsy shop and get things in there. I'm just going to play with this a little bit while it's still wet because this is my Fabri-Tac. So we know that we have a little playtime here. Yeah, I think I chose the wrong ones. I think they should have been put that way, but that's fine. That's fine. I think once it's all down and together, and we might have to trim a bit here and there, but I don't think anybody will be the wiser. We'll be able to get it fixed. So yeah, so in April I opened my Etsy shop, and thought, oh, this is great. I'll have the summer, you know, I can work all year long, and I can, you know, get stuff into my Etsy shop, and it'll be really good. It'll be really fabulous. And you all may remember, if you have been watching my videos, you know the story that about my husband had started having some trouble with his hand and his arm, and ended up in March of 2021 having major neck surgery. And I see this is all gluey outy. I'm just gonna wipe this glue along here and then clean this little blotch that I have. So that required me to be around to take care of him as much as I could, because he couldn't hardly sit up for even more than 5 minutes. Couldn't really use his hands and stuff. He was in a lot of pain and in a neck brace, and spent most of his days lying down because he couldn't hold his head up because of the pain in his neck and his upper back. So, and then of course I'm still trying to go to work. So I didn't have a lot of time the beginning of the year to do a whole bunch. And then, I'm sorry if you hear my brother-in-law's upstairs, just came in from work, and they must be watching sports or something, and they're shouting, and they're right above me, so I do apologize. So anyway, then no sooner was he getting to the point where he was up and going, you know, up and mobile for himself, able to, you know, drive and things like that. He didn't require me to help him there. And of course, his neck surgery had been done in New Jersey, so that was a 7-hour ride for follow-up visits, which meant that we spent time in New Jersey staying at my brother's house. He let us, you know, had us stay there so that I could bring Don to the doctors and things like that, which was, you know, really, really nice of him. And so it meant that we were away from home a lot. And so again, I didn't get a lot of stuff done there. And then, like I said, no sooner did he start getting better, I started having trouble with my eye. That was the first tear that I got in that eye. And then I had that 5 weeks later, after, when I had the tear had broken a blood vessel. So I had a lot of blood in my eye. So like a bruise, when you get a bruise, it takes a while for it to go away, for your body to reabsorb it. And so they fixed the tear, which was great. But my body was trying to reabsorb all the blood that was in my eye. Well, it was going along. And then I got the first retinal detachment. And that was about 5 weeks after the laser surgery for the tear, my retina detached. And just checking to see if I think I need any more ink anywhere. And then every 2 weeks, that started, the first tear was in June. And then in July, my retina tore. And then 2 weeks later, it tore, and I had to have surgery within that week. And then 2 weeks after that, it tore again, and more surgery, and 2 weeks after that, again, of course, more surgery. So I had a surgery in June, a surgery, the laser, and then one in July, the actual surgeries, one in July, one in August, and one in September. So needless to say, I was not at my craft table. So I started coming back. I did a little bit when the first, I'm just not liking how that is. Let me dig out a ruler, and I'm going to try to just sort of trim this edge. And I have a feeling I'm going to be really sorry. Because sometimes when I do this, when the glue is still gluey, it doesn't like it. But I did just change my blade, so I'm thinking I may be okay. Let me just keep, I feel like I didn't go all the way through this piece down here. There we go. All right, so that worked. Thank you. All right, but I am going to go back and ink these edges again. Just a little bit, because I cut off part of it and I don't want a white edge or a tea stained edge. All right, so there we have that. Okay. I'm thinking, because as I'm doing this, my fingers are getting caught here on this. Let me go ahead and ink. I'm going to do this. I'm going to ink around here a little bit more. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm just dotting this a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find, and I've got to do it, so I've got to find something to, trying to get this off of here. I have to find something to, and I'm going to ink in here too, just because. Just go around the inside a little bit. I'm thinking I might want to put, I don't know if I really want to put the plastic in. I'm thinking, that's, okay, I think what I'm going to do is I've got a plastic bag here. And I think what I'm going to do, let me use these guys as a guide. And I'm just going to cut out some pieces. Oops, I just knocked my bone folder on the floor. And again, I know I'm a little off camera. And I apologize for that. But I'm going to cut a couple pieces like this. Okay, just put those back up there. Okay, put that plastic back up here. Find my bone folder. Okay. So anyway, I'll get back to my story. So yeah, so I lost, you know, like half the year last year in being able to actually, these are not too wide, to actually, no, that's fine. Of course, everything's sticking to them. All right, this may shake the camera. I'm going to try not to. I'm going to get some of my score tape, and I'm going to just put some score tape around these, so I apologize. Let me just check and make sure we're still going. We are. I'm going to do it over here, where I think I can see it better. Maybe, maybe not. I know, like I said, I know I'm off camera, but I'm trying to get the plastic where the light is. So, come on. Oh my goodness, I'm wondering why it's not sticking. Because the glue separated from the paper. It's like, why is this not sticking? All right, let's try this again. Okay. And again, I'm over here where the light is shining on the plastic, because that's kind of the only way I can see it. And I think what I'm going to do is just going to have to go with it here and cut the edges off. Try to put it down, because I think it'll hold better with the score tape on the plastic rather than the glue. And I did not cut these perfectly straight, so they're kind of a mess. So I will try to make it if I don't have the score tape real close to the edge, I will try to make it closer to the edge. So we've done that one. Let me go ahead and do this one. And I see, under regular circumstances, I probably would have been able to see this, but my depth perception being what it is, I can't quite tell things very well anymore. And so I'm learning my limitations and trying to figure ways to adapt so that I can do what I need to do, even though it may not be quite the same or as easy as it was before. I can still manage if I just take my time. So anyway, so yeah, so I lost 2020, the summer of 2020, for about 3-4 months. I didn't do any crafting because I had moved. Then last year I had all the eye surgeries, starting with my husband's surgery and then my eye surgery. And then, you know, started getting back into it again. And, you know, as my eye was healing and there wasn't a lot of pain anymore, and that looks pretty good. I think I'm hanging over here just a wee bit. I know I'm hanging off over here. Yeah, I don't want to have any tape hanging over the edges of this plastic because the tag, and since it's not really like a hard tag, it's just the paper, that will stick to it, and we don't want that. Okay, so let's go ahead and use my bone folder to make sure this tape is good and down on the plastic. Okay, that's one. Yeah, and like I said, I'm doing this because those ridges around the edges of the oval hole, I think, are just too easy to get caught when you're trying to put something in and out. So that is my plan. Now I feel like something's sticky here. I think maybe there's a little bit of tape over the edge of the plastic. Like I said, I'm not all that concerned about having it. Okay, that should be all right. That should be all right. Okay, I'm going to use that in a minute. Well, not in a minute, but later. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and I'm probably going to have to wipe off all the little fuzzies from working here from the plastic. That's all staticky. Okay, we're going to take one piece off. I can see a thread stuck right here. You know what? You're not going to see that. Just want to put it up high enough to make sure that, whoops. Yeah, well, let's see if I can get that up, because I really didn't stick it down. As I moved, it came up. Okay, there we go. All right, there we are. Now all I have to do is try to get this tape off. And we'll let that kind of fall naturally. And we'll do this side. So yeah, so that was 2021. And now in 2022, I have to pack up my craft room again and move again. So my heart is broken. This is 3 years in a row that I'm losing half of my time. I'm just gonna, there's still a little bit of tape on the outside here, so I'm just gonna rub that off so it's not sticking on the outside. Run my hand around. I feel nothing. That is awesome. Okay, now let's get one of these off, and we will do the same on the other side. So yeah, so I'm gonna miss you guys. Unfortunately, I will not be able to get the time to, which side are you on? There we go. It's a little piece of fuzz or something. I will not have the time to do videos ahead so that, you know, while I'm in reality missing in action, I can have some videos up. I'm trying desperately to finish what I have to finish, what I've promised to people. I hope I can do all of it, if not most of it. Trying to, the last time we moved, my craft room was one of the first things I packed up, but this time it's going to be one of the last. And there are things here that I have in the craft room that, for the projects that I have planned, I don't have to keep 90% of the stuff out. I will be able to pack up the most of my craft room, and then the most immediate things that I'm using now and that I will use. Now see, I don't know if you can see the little fuzzies. So I have to make sure there's no little fuzzies inside. Like anywhere inside before I glue this shut. Okay. All right, now one of the things I'm also going to do here is I have made a tab, and I had a really hard time with this because of my hand. This was my whale tail tab. Hang on 1 minute, my husband's calling me. Yes, dear? I'm taping. What's up? Hello? Yes? I can't stop. I don't know how to do that. What do you need?
Sherry just called from headquarters.